Jagdeo says no to supermajority, 2 new courts under construction, and national gas strategy being considered. I am Rico Beaufort, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. The Vice President has rejected the idea of passing laws by a supermajority to force consensus between the government and opposition, citing neighboring Suriname's gridlock caused by its supermajority decision-making process. Jagdeo believes that gridlock could affect key decision-making and that it has nothing to do with Afro-Guyanese interests, rather it's just the opposition's selfish desire of power. Attorney at law Nigel Hughes was the first who floated the idea publicly, and he identified Suriname, where the Constitution provides for a 2/3 majority to pass laws concerning the right to vote, but there is sometimes gridlock in that system. Today was the funeral for Dr. Roger Luncheon. There, the president announced that the National Intelligence and Security Agency building will be renamed in honor of the late Dr. Roger Forbes Luncheon. Dr. Luncheon was Guyana's first nephrologist and served as head of the Presidential Secretariat and Cabinet Secretary for 5 consecutive presidents and secretary to the Defense Board. He passed away on the 1st of August, and the NISA building will be renamed to recognize his contribution to Guyana and the nation's security, according to the president. Sugar workers from Albion and Blairmont sugar estates are currently protesting and demanding a severance payout from Guy Succo. The workers were initially employed at the Rose Hall estate, but after its closure in 2017, many were transferred to Albion and Blairmont estates, whilst others opted for a severance payout. Now, with sugar expected to start grinding again at Rose Hall, the workers are objecting and demanding a severance package like their colleagues who were laid off and may also be re-employed. The workers have been protesting since last week, and Gawu is supportive of the workers and hoping for a peaceful resolution, seeing as they also believe they should get a severance check if they're going to be rehiring these people who were sent home years ago and they received a severance check when they were sent home. On Sunday, officials broke ground for a new $303 million magistrates court, which is set to be constructed at Timiri on the East Bank, with the project expected to be completed by September of next year. The building will include a courtroom, magistrates court office, chambers, living quarters, washroom, and parking facilities. The court will handle cases from the Lower East Bank Magisterial District up to Silvertown. Meanwhile, on Monday, the sword was turned for the construction of a new magistrates court at Friendship on the East Bank. The $388.9 million building will house a courtroom, magistrates' chambers, living quarters for a magistrate, and a clerk of court, as well as washroom facilities, parking facilities, and a perimeter fence. The project is expected to be completed by October 2024. Now for crime news. An autopsy revealed that Overall Adams' son Pedro died from pesticide poisoning. His body was found in a clump of bushes in Soesdijk, East Bank, Demerara, with no visible marks of violence. Pedro's ID card, bank card, and Samsung Galaxy S9 cell phone were found near his body. He was taken to the Diamond Diagnostic Center, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. However, according to his wife, she was alerted by him 2 days prior to him being found dead that he was in some trouble, but he did not explain exactly what type of trouble he was in, but that he did not want to include her in it.
Attention truck owners, between potholes, bad drivers, and high fuel prices, you've got 99 problems to deal with. But with Powered Automotive, your engine ain't one. That's because they stock high-quality parts and spares you need at prices you can't beat. Visit them at Lot 491 EE Eccles, or call or WhatsApp them at telephone number 6970171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana.
Tired of waiting on hold, tracking down a delivery driver, or carrying cash for your food orders? GT Eat is here to make your life easier. Guyana's first cashless food ordering and delivery app. Choose from Georgetown's top restaurants, pay securely with your card, and get your food delivered right to your doorstep. With the convenience of being able to order from your phone and the added feature of tracking your order, GT Eats is the ultimate solution for all your food needs. Download the app on Apple and Android stores and start ordering the easy way today.
The police in Berbice recovered a 1-month baby girl after her mother's ex-husband reportedly kidnapped her. Nalini Suko Singh reported that her ex-husband Satish Jagnath assaulted her and took the baby. After a search throughout the night, the police found the suspect with the baby. However, he ran away with the baby and abandoned her in a nearby trench. The baby was taken to the hospital and is now in stable condition with her mother. Meanwhile, Jagnath is still on the run. Zamal Samuels, a shopkeeper accused of killing a customer, has been released on $500,000 bail. The incident occurred back in March in Blackwater Village, and Samuels was charged with manslaughter. His lawyer argued that he's not a flight risk and wants to clear his reputation. The case has been adjourned to November 20th for a preliminary investigation. The police are currently investigating the death of 74-year-old Organsane Samaru, who fell onto the roadway in Lenora on the west coast and was crushed by a passing minibus. The driver of the minibus claims the victim fell while attempting to enter a stationary car on the northern footpath. The bus driver was tested for alcohol but showed no trace and remains in police custody. Marissa Williams, a student who was critically injured in the Mahdia School dorm fire, has been released from the Staten Island University Hospital after undergoing 3 months of medical care, including surgery, skin grafts, and physical rehabilitation, as well as grief counseling. She suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns to her back, legs, and arms. Her parents expressed gratitude to the medical teams in Guyana and the US for saving their daughter's life and ensuring her rehabilitation. The Guyana Police Force has issued a wanted bulletin for 25-year-old Mark Anthony Mohan in relation to the murder of Barrett Gendalol, who was fatally stabbed during a confrontation at his home in Canal No. 2 on the West Bank. Mohan's last known address is Lot 657 Bell West, Canal No. 2. Now for today's oil update. Frontera Energy Corporation has invested approximately $440 million in Ghana, with $400 million going towards 2 wells in the quarantine block, and the remainder for a port facility being established by partner CGX Energy. Shareholders have queried the extent of investments made to date, with Frontera's CFO committing to reviewing the recoverability of investments and updating investors accordingly. Frontera currently holds a 72.7% participating interest in Ghana's quarantine block. And finally, with Ghana's Petroleum Activities Bill 2023 awaiting presidential assent, regulators are focusing on completing a national gas strategy to explore the interest of the global market in our nation's gas resources, which could support the build-out of a petrochemicals industry locally. ExxonMobil has already unlocked significant gas resources in the Starbuck block, and authorities are eager to monetize these resources, which could yield significant value to Ghana. It might not be robbery season, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest, now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. Now for our Uncut News, Viewers Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it least was. Last night I asked, what are some concerns you feel that are not getting enough media attention?
But before we get to that, I'm proud to announce our latest addition to the Noble Army, Richard Singh, who is supporting us at the reporter level, the highest level of monthly support we've received so far. So thank you, Richard Singh. And also, a special thank you to David Griffith, Dion Nascimento, Project Zero, and Dimitri V. I appreciate you all. And if you're watching at home and you'd like to support our movement, just hit the link in the video description.
MJ YouTuber says, a lack of transparency with government projects is a huge issue. Almost everyone in Ghana has a phone now too. The idea that exact budgets and where each step of that money is being allocated towards being needed for public display should be a standard. In addition, we should know exactly who is in charge of these projects and their qualifications in the field. That Mandela to Eccles Highway is the most rough concrete I've ever driven on. Plus, there are sandbags along the highway to collect water because the road shoulders weren't sustainably designed. Indeed, there is a lack of transparency in a lot of government projects. Miracle Webster says a lack of CCTV cameras in police stations. Jay Jairam says corrupted officials. Meanwhile, Dopamine is concerned with the fact that most local news entities seem to report mostly on the achievements of Afro-Guyanese in the diaspora and not so much on those of other ethnicities. Shock Spy. That's a good observation. I would share my thoughts, but if If I condense a 10-minute answer into 30 seconds, I'll probably end up offending half of my Afro-Guyanese audience. But I will say this, the Dr. Jardine story and most of these feel-good stories of the diaspora achievements mainly come from Newsroom and Guyana Chronicle, and not from Kaicha or the Village Voice. Nonetheless, I will keep that in mind next time we feature such Guyanese. Also, don't be so harsh on the diaspora. Some of them really didn't choose to leave. It might have been their parents that took them, just saying. Now for tonight's question. I want to know, do you believe a supermajority might be a good thing in order to force consensus between the government and the opposition? Or do you agree with Jagdio and it'll just lead to more problems than good? I want to hear from you. So, think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Nico Bullfoot saying good night, folks.